All right, and now we're moving on to the headlining bout between Fedor Emelianenko and Rampage. All right, Rampage looks like he consumed another human being. He is a completely different person. He is huge now. And, he goes out, he knocks out Wanderlei. He loses to Chael Sonnen. Fedor beats Chael Sonnen. I mean, I said this earlier in the podcast, but I'll probably clip this part, right? So I'll say it again. I was reading on, I think it was a Wanderlei and Rampage fight. One of the comments said, Bellator does such a good job of I'm paraphrasing, but of putting on all the fights that I want to see, but that should never happen. I don't know, man. I mean, I do have a conflict, right? Where it's like, what do you do? Because you do want to watch them. They're legends in the sport. I mean, Fedor and Rampage are legends. Like, Rampage is a UFC Hall of Famer, in my opinion. And Fedor is obviously one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. Greatest heavyweight for sure that never fought in the UFC. It's tough, man. So here is like a little caveat to that. When you watch Fedor fight Chael Sonnen, he ragdolled him. I mean, Sonnen wasn't able to do really anything with any amount of success. There was a clear power difference. There was a clear difference in the hand speed. And it was obvious that Fedor was a heavyweight. And this is what makes me nervous for Rampage. I think that Rampage, and I love Rampage. Rampage was like one of my first favorite fighters. But Rampage is a lightweight or a light heavyweight who got fat. Do you know what I mean? Like they were talking about with like TJ Dillashaw's trainer, that Sam Calvillo. I think I'm saying that right, but they were talking about how they want to get him down to 205. And it's like, yeah, because that's where Rampage is supposed to be. He just got a little bit chubby. And he still has power, but you're starting to see him fight behind the jab a little bit more, be a little bit more patient, try to open things up. And you're starting to see him shoot for takedowns and stuff, right? But in my opinion, I really think the deciding factor in this fight is going to be the fact that Rampage is a light heavyweight who has gained weight, and Fedor has always been a heavyweight. I think you're going to see that Fedor is going to have more power in his hands. Not that, I mean, don't get me wrong. When two guys, especially when they're as old as these two are, start swinging their hands around and stuff, like, it's so hard to guess how they're going to react to things and what they're going to find success with, but I'm leaning towards Fedor, man. I just think that his hand speed and the amount of power that he's going to – and like I said, when you saw him fight Chael Sonnen is a guy who probably belongs down at like 205 at this point in his career and 185 obviously throughout his prime, right? But you just saw that there was Fedor was just able to push him around and like he'd try takedown attempts and Fedor was like, get the fuck off me. And Sonnen was able to kind of control Rampage. And that's because like I said, I just think that Rampage should be fighting at like 205. I think that you're going to see that get exploited in this fight. And not that Rampage can't, find an opening and land. Like, this could be anybody's fight. I mean, crazy fucking shit happens, especially when heavyweights are fighting and especially when two guys this old are fighting. But I think that Fedor, considering where he's at in his career, has looked pretty goddamn good lately. And I just think he's going to overwhelm Rampage. I think the power is going to be there. The hand speed's going to be there. And I don't think that there's a lot that Rampage is going to be able to do in this fight to find success except for land the big shot. And, I think Fedor is going to finish this fight, man. I think it'll be within inside like the first 2 rounds. Rampage has been like covering up and stuff some, boxing, like I said, fighting behind his jab. If he can kind of be patient and stay defensive, and if Fedor comes out swinging, he might be able to wear him out and capitalize on some of the exhaustion. But in instances like this where you've got a guy who's put on a bunch of weight and he's fighting a heavyweight due to that reason, I'm going to take the true heavyweight. And I'm going Fedor Emelianenko, first or second round KO.